Oh my gosh. My painting camera wasn't on. How unprofessional of me. Good morning! Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everyone is having a fine morning. I am so happy to be almost finished with these goblins. It's not even crazy. It's not afternoon, Alec. Don't mess with me. It hasn't been that long. Ugh. This doesn't need to be in the shot. I hope everybody's doing okay. We're very close to being finished with these goblins, ladies and gentlemen. We are very close. I'm working on the light brown today. We will get that done and hopefully be able to move on to the bone, and then we'll start working on individual things for each model. Well, also, there'll be white on each one. Very nice. Free beer in Deep Rock. Well, not playing Deep Rock, Alec. I'm painting miniatures. So we're mixing Skeleton Legion, a little bit of that, with our base color, which is Dust Bowl. And we're working on sort of a light brown, khaki-ish color. So this is our transitional tone. But it will probably end up being our mid-tone. Because I don't want these to be too bright. Hopefully by the end of this, we'll be happy with what it looks like. I don't want to go too crazy with these colors because the light brown parts are not the focus of the model. I'm not going too ham on the details on these parts because I want when you're doing a squad like this, you kind of have to decide, all right, how detailed am I going to make all these guys? And my decision was just detailed enough. I want you to be able to see the details and experience the details without, having to actually paint these tiny little parts on them. I think both of us zonated. You think Alec is chastising both of us. So zonated, I don't know if you can describe it in chat, but how, what exactly are you doing with the dice? Oh, okay, cool. Ah. Oh, okay. It's a dice potion bottle. It's the dice potion bottle roll. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really cool. That's sick. That's what that is. All right. That's awesome. That's very cool, Zonated. I like that a lot. I love like wax seals and shit. We're just adding these mid-tones to, we're trying not to flood out the shadows, which is difficult sometimes. These small models, because, a lot of times these details are not as pronounced as they would be on other models. Because these are board game miniatures. They're not made with, like, really, like, oh, we're painting minis in mind. They're made with, you're gonna play these on a board and look at them that way in mind. So some of these details are not as recessed. The cool thing about some of the newer ones is that they actually did decide, hey, we want to make these really impressive minis instead of just, oh, we're just making board game minis. And they even like changed the material that they made them out of, I want to say, in later printings of the game. Because the newer stuff is like definitely like a harder plastic than the older ones from the game that I bought initially. Which, I mean, I'm not mad about it. I got it before anybody else, so why would I be mad about that? But I'm a little mad that the details are kind of not as good on the original printing, but c'est la vie, said the old folks. Make Travis a nice gift. Then he announced the contest. Yep. Side quest. Yep, that's good. That's really cool that he gets to do that contest though, because he has like, since Mad Mike is our sponsoring it, it's really awesome. One day I hope to be able to do that kind of stuff, have sponsors and make concerts and stuff like concerts, contests, stuff like that. Dude, that would be awesome. I would love a friggin' Hero Forge sponsorship. No joke. I think if I could, what I would do with a Hero Forge contest is have people design and print their own mini, or design and paint their own minis, and then I would choose a winner, and I'd have them all design it off of a theme, kind of like what Travis is doing with his contest. Minis, that would be awesome. I would love to do that. Yeah. Travis loves his phylacteries. So. I mean, hence Darren Dice Lich. Oh, I'm sorry.
Darren the Dice Lich.
Painted a lot on this one tan that I didn't the others. Just, I don't know why. Sort of happened, I guess. Thank you. Just because I have a very deep voice, just normal. And I've just heard it so many times, so it's just
Darren the Dice Lich.
just sort of lightly hitting these areas with the light brown. I'm trying not to get too much paint on my brush, just because I don't want to flood the details. I'm using just the tip, and I'm using a very light touch. It's interesting because I was watching one of my YouTube painting guys that I usually watch, John Ninus is his real name, and he was talking about something that he forgot to mention to his students when he was teaching them at Nova. Nova Open is a big a big tabletop tournament that's kind of turned into a little bit of a tabletop convention. And he was telling that one of the things he forgot to mention to his students, because it just didn't occur to him, was how roughly or how hard you need to poke the model when you're painting it with your brush. And that's something I haven't really thought about it, because I've always used a very light touch when it comes to painting miniatures. And I didn't really think about that. It was because it was just kind of it's just kind of second nature to me. And yeah, it was something that I hadn't thought about it, but if I was teaching someone, I would definitely need to think about that kind of thing. So, very interesting to think about. You learn something new every day. The name of the bottle is Tears of Darren. That's funny. That's very funny. Okay. What are you doing for the labels, Zonated? Are you just printing one out? Hey, Rom. Welcome on in. Back on my painting shit. Once again. Very nearly done with these Goblinos. For which I am incredibly grateful. You're free! Nice. Well, I mean, I'm sorry you're tired, but I'm glad you're free. That means you can you're not on a time limit. Paint's drying just a little bit on the wet palette just because I didn't put as much water as I probably should have in it. Okay. Alright. Just these last 3 yellow guys, and then we're done with the first midtones for the light brown. And then we'll just do the highlight, and we'll be good. Okay. Take a look. Ah. Very cool. Very cool. I like that. Rom, are you working on painting anything? Or are you, or have you not had time since you started your job? Ooh, one moment. I await with bated breath. Alright, that's midtones done. Now the highlights, we're just going to add a little bit more Skeleton Legion to our original thing. So it's just a little bit more of a muted brown khaki color. We're not going to add a ton of this paint to these guys, but this will be our final highlight. Still working on the spider. And start working on a Stormcast. Oh, yes, Stormcast. I do like the Stormcast. I remember when they came out and everybody was calling them Sigmarines. It's very funny to me. Because everybody was like, oh, they're just turning Warhammer Fantasy into 40k. And I was like, well, 40k is their highest selling property. Can you blame them? But also, Age of Sigmar is nothing like Warhammer 40k. Not anymore. Because people wanted that grim dark aesthetic, or grim dark fantasy aesthetic back. And they got it. It's just so funny because the reason why they ended the original Warhammer Fantasy Battles was just because nobody was playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle. It was their worst selling. It was their worst selling game. Even though it was their their first original title that they released was Warhammer Fantasy Battles, and they were like, "Why is nobody playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle?" Well, they must, but they're playing Warhammer 40k. Well, they must like that Warhammer 40k aesthetic instead. So, well, let's blow up the old world and create something new. But you'll still be able to use all your Warhammer Fantasy Battle guys in there. Well, that didn't last very long. I mean, now you can't hardly use any of the old Warhammer Fantasy stuff in Age of Sigmar, but they've got plenty of Age of Sigmar stuff for you to be able to use, so it doesn't really matter. But the reason why people weren't playing Warhammer Fantasy was not because nobody wanted to play Warhammer Fantasy, which is obvious because they brought out the old world. Well, it's because the barrier to entry for Warhammer Fantasy Battle was so high. Kind of like how Old World is now, but people are more willing to do that now, I guess. I don't know. But, I think it was mostly just because people would see a game of Warhammer Fantasy Battle and be like, oh, I have to have how many models painted? They're all in ranks? I have to have trays? I don't think this is for me. Whereas you look at a game of Warhammer 40k, comparatively smaller model count, and you didn't have to have all these like trays and stuff like that, and they were all in these neat little tidy squads. People were more interested in that. And so, it was selling better. Now, of course, a game of Warhammer 40k has so much crap in it that it's like, you know, it's nothing like it used to be, which is fine. But Games Workshop also got smart and they were like, you know, hey, what if we, instead of just having this one game type, what if we have multiple game types? What if we developed small squad games like Kill Team, which is what they have now, and we supported that for people who didn't want to paint as many models, for people who didn't want to have these huge epic games that are going to take 4 hours. We just want something that you can pick up and play with relatively small barrier of entry. But then we can make these models that they have for their kill team. They'll work with our bigger game too. So they did that. And honestly, I think it's worked out for them a little bit better. But I also think that a lot of people were very excited for the old world to come back. Which, you know, there's attachment and nostalgia there, so that's kind of why that succeeds. But I honestly don't know how long that Games Workshop is going to keep making old world. I think that I guess as long as it keeps making money, they'll keep doing it. But I just feel like that game, every time I think about like getting into it, I look at how many models that you have to have for a game of Old World, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm good. But there is a community for it, so there were people who played Fantasy Battle even after they got rid of it. There was a fan made thing. It was like, they were like, I think it was called, I think they just called it like Warhammer Fantasy Battle 9th Edition or something like that. Or they just called it 9th Edition. Because they were on like 8th. Thanks. I understand. I'm just kind of rambling right now. Just talking to myself, really, while I paint my models to fill the silence. But yeah, there were still people who play Fantasy Battle after Warhammer Fantasy Battle went away. 9th edition was a thing that people online sort of made. That was like, these are like some updated rules or whatever. I don't know if they took any of that for the new old world stuff, but I mean, really cool that there's still a community out there for stuff. I mean, Games Workshop made a long time ago a little skirmish game with a lot of RPG elements called Mordheim. You probably have seen the video game Mordheim on Steam on sale at some point. And Games Workshop has not supported Mordheim in a long time. But you can still play Mordheim because there's still a very dedicated Mordheim Mordheim player base. And they have rules that you can play. They basically took the old rules from Games Workshop and put them online, and I don't know that they've updated them or anything, but you can still play Mordheim. There's still Mordheim players out there. I always think it's really cool whenever you see communities just kind of take something like that and run with it. They're just like, all right, you don't want to support our game anymore. We'll support it. I mean, even video games. There are some video games that do that, which is astonishing to me. For instance, just to keep on the Warhammer kick, there was an online version of Warhammer, an MMO, called Warhammer Age of Reckoning, forever ago. And it had a pretty fervent following. Not a huge following. It wasn't like World of Warcraft or anything crazy like that. But it had a pretty big following online because it had this very unique PvP system. Especially for the time. There was a lot of world PvP, and you could actually level up your character by just doing PvP if you wanted to. And there were a lot of people who really liked that game. But there was a big problem in that the guys in charge were EA. So, if you know anything about EA, Electronic Arts, they don't really care so much about the games that they publish and produce. They mostly just care about money. So, They after a few years of it being online, they stopped support. They were just like, all right, well, this isn't really making us money anymore. It's expensive to keep these servers running, so we're gonna shut them down. We're gonna shut down all the Warhammer Age of Reckoning servers. Well, the big problem was that there were still people who wanted to play Warhammer Age of Reckoning. And they still had a big fan base. So, people still wanted to play it. Now, in the year of our Lord, 2025, or the Common Era of 2025, you can still play Warhammer Age of Reckoning online with many, many people. Because a very devoted group of people have a private server up for Warhammer Age of Reckoning. They make no money off of it. They basically just created this so people could play Warhammer online, Age of Reckoning. And I've played on it. It's pretty cool. It's a little unstable because it is a private server, so, you know, take that with what you will. But yeah, it's really impressive that they just decided, yeah, we're gonna do this. It's like, all right, go you. So yeah, even like something that's not Warhammer related. Oh no! What does that mean? What do you mean by your internet will be going out? Like you hit your data limit or something? Oh shit. It won't even load? Damn. I don't even know if you can hear me say that. That's crazy. How does that even work? Yeah, I don't know. Can you like get it fixed or something? Oh, your mobile data is running out. Gotcha. That makes a ton of sense. Do you have like a monthly cap? Oh, okay. 30 days. Still got 18 days. Damn. Must been looking at a lot of streams. Guess I should stream less often. I have a lot of free time on my hands right now. Hopefully that won't always be the case. Yeah, no, I mean I'm hoping that I get a job at some point in the near future. Once I do, I will hopefully be too busy to stream in the mornings. I might keep the stream going at night, but I definitely wouldn't be able to stream in the morning if I'm working your regular 9 to 5. The only way that that won't happen is if I blow up overnight and become a full-time streamer slash YouTube painter. Yeah, I know. Streamer Wizard Supreme. Haha. Funny. Yeah, but I do like the streaming. I enjoy it. That's why I do it. I know I'm kind of flaky with my scheduling, but that's just because I don't do this for a living right now. If I did, then I would be more consistent. But also, like, last week I didn't stream on Tuesday because I was dealing with that customer service bullshit for the phone that I was supposed to get that I never got. And it honestly put me in like such a bad mood that unless I was just streaming silently, you wouldn't have wanted to hear. You wouldn't have wanted to talk to me because all I would have been doing is complaining the whole time. I've had some pretty bad luck recently, and hopefully turns around eventually. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I want to do more, mostly just because I want to, like I say, I want to do this kind of thing full time. Uh, I'd love to be a full time creator. I'm not gonna say content creator, but just a full time creator in the sense that I'm making things, whether those things are streams or videos or painting or whatever. I'd love to do that full time, but it is not feasible definitely right now. Very nearly done with the light brown. Very, very nearly done. Alright, next one's our last one that needs light brown highlights. Woohoo! Alright. Bam! Okay. Next, I think I want to start on the white. Just because all of them are going to have a little bit of white on them. Some of them are going to have more than others. But the first thing that we're going to do with the white, we're using, hold up a second. I always do this, so I'll continue to do that. We're using Brigade Gray. And we're going to paint the hair on all these, and the smoke on these bomber gals. We're going to paint them white. The smoke is for an obvious reason. Smoke. Actually, scratch that. We'll come back and paint that a dark gray, because we need to layer up the smoke anyway. But we'll do the hair. So I was kind of agonizing and going back and forth, and I was like, what color am I going to paint this hair? Like, do I want to paint them all a different color, or do I want to do something different? And I decided in the end, we're just going to do white hair, and they've got these little twisty ties in their hair to tie their hair up. I'm going to paint that the accent color. I don't like this hair on the back of their head. It's so crazy. It's all spikied out and we'll have to do a couple of coats of this, of course. Alright. We'll let that first coat dry. Do the next one. Oh, welcome back. Alright. I had to add some more water to my wet palette, and also Army painter paint can sometimes be a little thicker. Okay. Let that bit dry. There's gonna be more white on this. I have to do her eyes too, but I'm just doing the hair first. Oh, stream dropped? Oh, thank you, Alec, for banning a presumed bot. Did the stream go down, or did everybody's internet crash? As it still says on mine that I've been live for an hour and 13 minutes, which sounds about right. Okay, Ron. Bye. Thanks for hanging out. It's the last part of that sentence. Jesus. Jesus. Scared the absolute crap out of me so loud on my end. Oh. Alright, buddy. Enjoy your run. And enjoy Dimension 20.
Yes. Go. Volcano.
There's a weird delay for me because I'm hearing it twice. That's true, but they weren't working for a while, but I figured out how to get them to work on stream. So, hopefully they come through. All right. Oh, hey. Welcome back, Zonated. I don't care. All my friends call me Chuck. Everyone who watches me stream used to call me pretty much calls me Felix. I honestly answer to either one. It's whatever you want to call me. I've always liked the name Felix, and so I chose it for my online name. It's actually my Final Fantasy character's name. It's my original goal with my original intention with streaming was to stream Final Fantasy 14, but there's so many Final Fantasy 14 streamers out there that nobody was watching my stream, so I just decided to do retro RPGs instead, and then I had my son, and I stopped streaming for a long time, and now I'm painting, so I think it all worked out in the end. I still want to do retro RPG streams, by the way. I will do those in the future. Probably this week I'll start. But third-person games? Like, what kind of third-person games? You talking about, like, third-person shooters? Or, like, third-person games like, platformers, or... What are we talking about here? There we go. Oh, no, third person actually doesn't make me sick. First person game FPS games, they do make me sick, but recently I've noticed like the new Borderlands does not make me sick. I've noticed that. I think it's the fast games where you have a really fast movement in first person that makes me vom. But third person games I've never really had an issue with it, except I will say except for Spyro the Dragon. For some reason, Spyro the Dragon always makes me a little queasy. I don't know why. I really liked Spyro when I was a kid, but now like trying to play makes me a little barfy. I had to go back to it though. I'll try and see if it still makes me barfy. The Great Cheese Race. You mean the one where you're like chasing a wheel of cheese down a hill? Somebody made a game of that. I'm familiar with that if that's what we're talking about. That you're like you roll a wedge of cheese down the or a wheel of cheese down a hill and you're like running alongside it to try to get your cheese to make it down the hill fastest. That's funny. Somebody made a game based off of that? That's wild. That's a wild thing. Let's put on some eyeballs. And then we'll do the bone. It's free? I might have to what's the game called? I meant to look that up. Alright. We're going sexy gog mode. Cheese rolling. Okay. Trying to focus, so you'll have to forgive me. Gonna be a lot of fixing, it looks like, on these guys, but we're working on it. We're getting the eyes in. It's kind of hard to see where the eyes are, just because the way that the model is molded. Probably was easier when I didn't have as much paint on the model. Now it's kind of difficult. But we're not going to go too wild on all the eyes on these guys. It's literally a two-step process for these eyes. So. Guy's already got his eyes done. I have to prawn a little bit here. You are... Your sacrifice is appreciated, Ron. No! Don't cancel the train. Let Rom go to sleep. Oh no. When's the next one? Oh no. That sucks so much. I'm so sorry. Oh wow. That's wild. Wonder why that is. Oh, it's raining. Gotcha. That makes sense. Stuttgart. I've been to Stuttgart a long time ago. know if it's a place that I'd want to be stuck necessarily. Hope it clears up soon, so you're not stuck in Stuttgart forever. Oh, thank you. Well, my family is German, so kind of pick it up. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sprechen eine kleine Deutsche. Nicht gut. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I knew that would make you laugh. Always funny to hear Americans try to speak another language. Please stay down. Oh my god. Is it the friggin' apocalypse? What's going on? Well, stay safe, Ron. What happened? She said no. Oh no. Oh wait, you said woo. So does that mean they didn't cancel it? Sometimes. Not always. Sometimes I hate painting friggin' eyes. To go back and neaten up a lot of these guys' faces with some green, which is fine because I needed to use green anyway. Need to use my green on the one that I painted differently. This guy's eyes might not even be visible, but whatever. Oh, good. I'm glad you're down. I'm glad you're in there. Well, you can probably. I mean, I wouldn't want you to use up all of your mobile data because you might need it for something. So that would not be good if you didn't have it. All right, next for the hair, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna add some apothecary white, which is contrast paint. Where are you? I know you're here. There it is. Oh, it only slows down. Okay. But you wouldn't be able to, like, watch a stream or something. Getting there, guys. Very nearly finished with these goblins. After I do this contrast, I'm gonna do the bone parts. Them. Bone will be anything that's like teeth or literal bones that are on their bodies. That's just going to be 2 colors. Not going too crazy with it. Here we go. Alright, that's the contrast. We'll just let that dry. Alright, first one that we're going to be using for the bone is Skeleton Legion. Skeleton Legion. I already have some of this on my palette, but I was using it to mix with the Dust Bowl, so use the same one. We'll start down at the bottom. Alright, so this fella's got some bone on his necklace here. Can't really see. Good enough. Wow. Necklace as well. Skull here. I have a plan for the teeth because I think they're all the ones, especially the ones that are like clinched, like in a grin. I think that's gonna be too difficult to paint like individual fangs or whatever. This guy doesn't have any bone on the front. On the back, he's just got his teeth. This one has a bunch of bone on it. I definitely need to make sure my brush is wetter. I know she had some bone on her back here too. These guys have a big skull on their head. And of course, they have their regular teeth too, which I will do my best to get in there and get. It's just a little too watery. I think this one's pretty much just his teeth. But a little fiddly. Yeah, I don't see any other bone on him. Teeth again. Teeth are really weird on some of these guys. I think you could have just stopped that sentence with "people are too incompetent." Wrong. It's generally how I feel about people. Forgot about these little bonies back here. Did I get them on the first one? I did not. Let's fix that grievous error. All right. We're so close, guys. Once we have got the bone done on all of them, I believe that is the last of the quote-unquote universal colors that are not metallics that I'll be putting on these guys. And then I can just move on to painting the individual models in their group and knock them off that way. So that'll be good. Oh, thank you. Okay. Just the yellow ones. one more of the yellow ones. And then we're just adding one final highlight to the bone. And that's it for the bone. Ugh. Huh. Okay. I'm going to take a real quick stretch break. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Ah. Headphones. Alright. I just needed to get up and move my legs just a little bit. Starting to get stopped up. Alright. Our final highlight on the paint, and this will probably be our final paint that we're applying today. Oh no! I'm sorry. Is Screaming Skull. So that's our last paint for today. Our last highlight. Hopefully it's our last highlight. It seems a little thick. I don't know. It's still workable. Okay. It's not solidified. So here's what we're gonna do. This is a fun. It's a fun little hobby hack for all of you. I'm gonna add some medium, some Lamia medium. A few drops. I'm also going to add a little bit of airbrush thinner. Just a touch, just a couple of drops. Just to get it, like, so that it starts to thin out. I'm going to drop in to the pot itself one of these little agitator balls. Take it, shake it up, put it on my vortex mixer. And hopefully that will bring the paint back to a creamy consistency. Again, this is an old paint, so we shall see. It looks pretty good. Well, I think it's getting caught on some paint in the pot itself, but the paint coming out of the pot is okay. I need to... Honestly, what I need to do with this is I need to take it and put it in a dropper bottle. But that's very tedious. But it's okay. We're not using a ton of this color. This is just a highlight on all of our bone. I will add more as I need more. We will start down where we started. And this is just to really sell that bone color. Oops, that was awful. Get another paintbrush and try to get that off before it dries. Like I said, I have to go through and do some neatening anyway. I've got too much paint on the side of these brushes. That's why I keep messing up the detail parts. But I have a trick to darken those up anyway. And we'll be using that. This guy's already done. Alright. Bomb lady. More paint. Okay. This one is just the teeth. And I'm just giving a hint of shine to them. Mostly because this bone has gone on long enough. A lot of these really tiny details are too much of a pain for me to invest a ton of time and energy into them. Ah! Her ear was stuck underneath my fingernail. Going kind of fast. That's because I'm getting hungry. Ready to eat lunch. It is lunchtime. Okay, last blue. And we only have the 3 yellow ones left. Two of those are just the mouth. I forgot an entire bone part. I'm gonna go back and do that just real quick. It won't take long, but I forgot something else that's bone on these stabby ladies. So go back to Skeleton Legion. Their hats have these 3 little bone teeth on them. I completely forgot to do that on any of them. So, just gonna go back and do that very quickly. Ah, starting to stiffen up. Tells me my posture hasn't been great this stream. Last bone highlight. There we go. All right. Okay. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make sure that the teeth are all individually seen across the board on the models. Now, how do I gonna do that? You may ask. You madman. Well, I'm gonna use a contrast paint. I may need to find it. You have it. I don't think I have it on my desk. Let me find it. Aha! I found it. I'm going to be using a contrast paint called Skeleton Horde on their teeth. And this is a bone color. And the way that contrast paints work, or they're supposed to work, is that they get down in the recesses and they just sort of almost stain the brighter colors. Since these are already bone, it won't do too much of that, but it will get in the little grooves and hopefully make it so that those like little individual teeth aren't too killed. Literally just adding it in the mouth to make sure, or to try to get into the recesses. And then I'm going to go back in with my green after I'm finished with them and clean up all their faces. And this is just my attempt to not completely wash out their mouths with bone paint, because these are the tiniest mouths that do not have a lot of definition in their teeth. These ones in particular, I think, they have very toothy mouths. This might benefit them the most of all. I'm not using a whole lot of this stuff. And if it makes them look like they got yellowy teeth, I'm okay with that. They're goblins. Their dental plan is not supposed to be the best. Don't play Apex, but I have a favorite character. I honestly don't know the characters that well zonated. Alec has tried his hardest to get me to play Apex, and I can't bring myself to do it. makes me just a little too barfy. And, I don't know. It's just... Battle Royale games aren't really like my cup of tea. I don't like Fortnite either. I played the game with Travis because he was going through like a phase where he was playing a lot of Fortnite. And it's free, so I was like, well, he seems to be having fun. Makes me want to give it a try. I tried it. It was fine. We got out of it, and I haven't really gone back to it since. I did all the brown ones because I went out of sequence. The only one that comes to mind if I'm thinking about Apex characters is the robot guy. And that's just because I like robots. Pathfinder. I think it's Pathfinder. Yeah, it's whatever the really like snarky robot's name is. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. I believe that is the bone and the dark brown and the white done on these goblins. So tomorrow, I think we're going to finish them. We'll add metallics, finish up the eyes, and do the unique things for each model. That'll be it for all these goblins, except for basing them, of course. They'll have to be based. There we go. My microphone. Alright, I'm moving you guys in real time. Whoa! Hand stream. Oh my gosh. Whew. Alright, we'll swap over to my just chatting screen. Okay, well, we did a lot of progress on these guys today. Finished all the bone, We finished all the white. Well, we didn't finish the white. We got started on the white for the hair on the bombers, but that's kind of a unique thing. Same thing with the ones on the stabby ladies. Let's see. What else do we got to do? Well, we have to finish all the metallics. That's a big one. And then we have to finish the unique features for the models. Some of them don't have any. Some of them just have metallics. The boomerang guys and the bomber girls, they have unique features. And the stabby ladies, they have their hair. Other than that, it's about it. So after I finish all of that stuff, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, we are just going to paste them and neaten them up probably a little bit, but I mean, we are at this point about 90% of the way done with all of them, I want to say. There's nothing too crazy. Actually, we'll say 85, because the metallics, all of them have metallics on them. So, but that's just silver and gold, and there may be, and I might use bronze as well, because I think we're going to do silver for the weapons, obviously, and we'll do gold for like the earrings, and we'll do bronze for the bombs on the bomber gals, and also they have like a little armband on them. And yeah, that sort of thing. And there's a few armor pieces on them that have like little spikes. We'll also do those in metallics. So. But that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for our stream today. I've been going for about close to 3 hours. It is 12:20. I'm hungry. I would like to eat. And I think that's a perfect place to call it for now, with these models making a lot of progress, and just a few more things to do on them, honestly, and then we'll call them done. We finished the Goblin Shaman. If you missed that stream, it was when I messed up with the yellow. But yeah, she is finished. And then once these goblins are finished, that's it for goblins. We're done. We did them all. I wish I could say that that's it for greenskins. We have a few orc archers that I neglected to paint, but we'll get those at some point. But the next thing we're going to take care of is the skeletons. That's my next biggest mob that we're going to have to contend with. So let's go ahead and raid out to someone. Let's see. Who can we find? Well, it's just me and one other person. So I don't think we won't bother. We won't bother raiding out, because I think that there's a bunch of people online, but a raid of 1 is just me and one other person. So I think that we'll just call it to here today. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow with more painting, and that will hopefully get our goblins done, and we can move on to something besides goblins, like skeletons. Skeletons will be fun. They'll also be fast, because I'm probably going to do a lot of things like speed painting, dry brushing, and then there are very little, like, you know, details on some of those models. But the archers are going to be fun because they've got like chainmail on them and stuff. But we're going to use a lot of techniques to try to make them a little bit quicker. There's a couple of unique models in there. We'll paint those on them on. Hey, Rom. We're just about to wrap up. Welcome back. So yeah, there's a couple of unique models in there. We'll paint those individually, and they'll be their own special thing. The skeletons, I probably will not do the color like thing. Like we had accent colors on the goblins. Like we had red, yellow, blue, and brown. But we won't do that on the skeletons. Mostly just because, I mean, they're skeletons. We're I don't know what to say. Anyway, I never did. Oh, actually, I do know why. I didn't do it on my HeroQuest models when I painted them back in the original set, which was the 80s set. Let me move my OBS window so I'm looking at you guys. There we go. Here we go. There we go. That's better. But yeah, so we are going to. We won't do like a crazy unique accent color with the skeletons, just because I never did that with my original HeroQuest set that I painted. I did that with my original HeroQuest set that I painted with the goblins and the orcs, and I have done the same thing with the goblins and the orcs for my particular 2021 HeroQuest set. 'Cause I don't know if I said it or not, but these models are actually the re-release of HeroQuest from 2021, and the models are a little bit different. If you want to see my original painted HeroQuest models, I posted all of them on my Instagram account. That's where you see all my finished painted models. There will be more on there soon. I've got to take some more pictures, but other than that, it should be good to go. Yeah, at Blue Wizard Studio, you can see the Instagram right there at the bottom, in the middle, and that's where you can find all of my finished painted models. I take pictures generally of all of them. I don't post anything else on there pretty much. There's literally let me just I'll pull it up very quickly. This is my Instagram page. There's a few shorts on there which were also on my YouTube channel, but other than that, it's literally just images of my painting. I've stopped doing shorts because they were kind of flooding my timeline, but yep, just models that I've painted. Really cool stuff that I've done. If you're very interested in my miniature painting art, please do follow me on there, and you will see more in the very near future. I kind of have been wanting to develop a backlog so I can schedule them out, so I don't have to try to remember to post every so often. So. But all right, I've talked long enough. You guys have listened to me yammer on and on, more than enough. But I thank you for your time, and I thank you for watching. And I will see you tomorrow for more, hopefully, the end of our goblin painting streams. So, thank you, and then we'll, like I said, streams aren't over. We're going to move on to skeletons. Bye-bye.